Hey guys, my name is Caesar. In this video I'll show you how I use Fastlane to automate some of the really slow processes involved in developing iOS apps. So let's get started. So everything that you automate using Fastlane is defined in a file called fast file. Okay, so this is my fast file. As you see here, I have multiple lanes, one called version, for example. So if I go back to my terminal and I write Fastlane version, it's gonna run this code which is defined in this lane, and it says get version number, which is a function that's part of Fastlane. So okay, it fired up and it returned 1.8.0, which is the current version I'm working on one of my apps. So for example, when I wanna update the version number of my app, instead of doing it manually, I use these lanes instead. So let's open up Xcode so you see what's actually happening. Come on, Xcode. There we go. Okay, so instead of me going in here and updating this string manually, and also keeping it in sync with the ones defined. Oh, they're not visible here. Well, these two other targets, they have their own info.p list as well, and these also have a version, of course. But instead of doing all this manually and updating these, I can automate it. So instead, let's open this up so you see what's the what the lanes are called. I can write, for example, Fastlane version patch, and that means it's gonna bump the version with the with the patch number. Sorry about that. So maybe you know this already, but I'll just mention it real quick. So the first number means major changes, the middle one means minor changes, and the last one means patches, so super small stuff. So if we go back here, okay, so if I write a Fastlane version underscore patch, for example, let's say we had a bug that went on to the App Store and we wanted to get that solved. I fixed that and I want to push this out, and it just contains this fix. I'll just write this. And that's it. You see, it prints out saying that it's updating to 1.8.1 and so on. But yeah, this is just for information. You don't usually need to read that. You just go back to the project again and you see it's bumped it up, and it works the same way with Fastlane version major, for example, which is that one. So if I write that, then it's gonna be 2.0.0. Yeah, there we go. See there? Go back into the project again. Yeah, we'll see that it's bumped up. Super simple, saves me a lot of time. Now let's reverse that. So now it should be back. Yep, it is. Awesome. Okay, let's go back to the fast file. I have another lane called search, which uses match to set up my provisioning profiles. It's really simple. So instead of having to going into iTunes Connect developer portal and setting those up and registering all the stuff, this does everything for me. It's a really good way. So when you have new people joining the team, you can just tell them to fire the search lane, fire up the search lane, and then boom, they got all the provisioning profiles that you might need. I have another lane called screens. Usually this lane on my other projects, I use this to create screenshots of my app using Snapshot. Then it uses frame it to put a device frame around the screenshot, and then it uses deliver to upload this to the App Store. But I can't use Snapshot in this case because this app Cooking, which is a recipe management app, is based on CloudKit, And when I'm using CloudKit, I don't have access to my production data. Oh, sorry. So when I'm developing in the simulator, I don't have access to the production environment. And I would love to have the screenshots being made automatically off real production data. But since that can't be done, I take the screenshots manually myself, and then I use Frameit to put the device frame around them, and then use deliver. So it's not perfect yet. It's not super awesome, but it's better than nothing. Tests just run scan, which fires up all the unit tests and UI tests, I'm pretty sure. Well, and here it gets interesting. So we have a lane called beta. So previously I was using TestFlight as betas, but the problem with TestFlight is that it's way too slow. It's blocking me. It's making me inefficient. So then I just decided to ditch that and start using beta offered by Crashlytics and Fabric instead. So I got the previous code down here for the TestFlight beta. I'll show you that in just a few seconds. So let's go through this. It's super simple. So I can just call Fastlane beta, and it's going to do all the things required to send out a new beta. So if we open up here, oh, by the way, this lane thingy beta, you can call that anything. You can call it awesome beta if you prefer that, and then you just write Fastlane awesome beta, and then it's gonna run this. So you can name your lanes in whatever you want to. So the first thing we do is we set up a notifications here, a variable, and we'll set that to true as default, and then we check if notifications has been if it has been defined when calling this lane. The reason I do this hassle is so from the terminal, if we go back to call it beta, I call Fastlane beta just to have it shoot out a new beta, but I have another lane called silent beta. So what this thing it does is that it's called the beta lane, but it sends notifications false. So the argument notifications has a value of false. So what we do here is we just check if if notifications defined in the options variable, if it is, override the local notifications variable. So it's default true. So when you call Fastlane beta, it's gonna notify all of your testers. But if you define notifications false, it's not gonna notify the testers, because we use this variable when calling Crashlytics down here. So if we use if we call this one, what's going to happen is that it's going to first register devices. So let's open this up for you guys. So these are just two devices registered at the moment. It's my iPhone and my friend Simon's iPhone. So it's going to read that text file and register those devices in my iTunes Connect portal, developer portal. And then it's going to use match to update the provisioning profiles, and it's going to force for new devices, which means that if there are devices in this text file that haven't been registered on the iTunes portal yet, it's going to recreate the provisioning profile. And when doing that, the new devices will be in that new provisioning profile. So as long as the devices are in this text file, they are going to be added to the provisioning profile, which means that those users will be able to install this beta on their iPhone. And then I just apply a patch, git apply addoc.patch, and this is just a quick workaround for doing this basically. So in here, in Xcode, I've set up so the debugging provisioning profile is set to development, and my release configuration I sign with match App Store, which means it's a provision profile for sending it to App Store. But we have the ad hoc up here, so whenever I want to send out a beta, I have to change to that one. But instead of doing this manually, I just did that change. I print out the diff. You see up here, you see it up here. I took this diff and created a patch out of it. That's it. So if we cat adhoc.patch, this means that we're gonna read what's in it. We see this is the same stuff. And then using this command git apply adhoc.patch, what it does, it takes this diff and applies it to this git repo, and the diff defines which files should be updated as well. So it just applies this patch, which means that it's gonna change. So we use the ad hoc provisioning profile. Then it's gonna use Gym to compile the app, and then it's gonna just reverse what we did with the patch by doing a git apply -r. And then we take the change log, we read it. We load it to a variable called changelog. So I'll open up the changelog for you to see it as well. Just a normal text file. Hey fellow chef, this is what I've changed in this update, and then there's just, you know, what I'm working on. And as I work with new features in my app, I just keep updating this all the time, because when I send out a new beta, my beta testers will receive this note. So when I finally reach the end of my sprint, or whatever you want to call it, when I'm feeling ready to submit to the App Store, I just go through here and I do a final update, removing stuff that has been fixed. But at that moment, I should have multiple of these dots, because as I've been fixing stuff, I've been adding notes about that. So this is I like this a lot. I keep the release notes in my version. I keep them in my Git repository, which means that I can always go back and read what happened then, and what's new, and so on. Really simple. Okay, so those release notes are added, are loaded to the variable called changelog, and then we do the final thing, is uploading this app to Crashlytics. So we just define my email, my API token, my build secret, which I must change now that you guys seen it. I can apply the notes. I just send it the changelog variable to the notes argument. And then groups is just a string, and it's comma separated with group names, and so on. I only have one group called VIP at the moment, which is me and Simon, but that's okay for now. And then notifications. Oh yeah, so this is a true or false, defining if the user should be emailed or not about the new updates. So we use the variable called notifications, which I said previously is defined up here. Yeah, and that's it. So we could send out a beta now. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Let's see what happens. Let's just get rid of rid of that. Yeah, get rid of that. Okay, cool. Reload, of course. So if we now call Fastlane silent beta, means that we're going to do the beta process, but we're not going to send out notifications to our testers. Boom, that's it. So now it's going to do all of that stuff I just mentioned, and while it's doing that, I can do something else. I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but usually when I'm working, I can take this time and, I don't know, go make some coffee or play around in Photoshop or whatever. Yeah. So while this works, we can continue with the next one, which is the TestFlight beta lane. So this does almost the same thing. So first of all, we call disable iPad. So this is another lane that I've created in this same fast file over here. This is just some bash voodoo that enables or disables the iPad as a device that we support. I don't use it any longer in the new beta, as you see, in the new beta lane, as you see. But yeah, let's just keep it here for now. So what's going to happen is that it's going to disable iPad. So this app will only support iPhone, or only going to be runnable on iPhone. Then it compiles the app. Then it enables iPad again because we want it in its default state. This way I don't get any any changes in any differences in Git. And then I load the release notes to my changelog variable, and then I call pilot. And pilot just communicates with TestFlight and uploads the compiled IPA file. It sends the changelog, and I also say distribute external. This means that this IPA will be sent out to my external testers, and if it hasn't been approved by Apple, it's going to submit it to Apple, so they can start reviewing it. So as I said previously, this is what I used to use previously, but it just takes too long because of processing times. And if you've used TestFlight, then I'm sure that you are aware of what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to go into that. Another one that's pretty nice is lane meta, which is another lane. The only thing this does, it's upload the meta information I have in my repository. So in this app cooking, I have all the meta, which is basically app description, app keywords, and so on. All of that is defined in my what's it called? Well, in my Git repository, in the repository where I have my code, basically. So this is uploaded to Crashlytics beta, which is awesome. But let's open up a new file for now, a new tab. Sorry. So if we go into cooking, we're in cooking, and now it's finished. Okay, let's close down that tab. Let's go back to the first tab, and now we see that it's finished with the what's it called, with the publication of a new beta. And you can also see each lane, and see how long they took. And as you see, they went very quickly. The slowest one was compiling the app with Jim, which took 1.5 minutes ish. Okay, so the meta. Okay, so if we just open up, by the way, this is using the having the meta stuff in the repository is not something special I've built. It's supported by Fastlane per default. So this is the metadata that's in my app. That's connected to it's associated to my cooking app. So this is the app description, keywords, marketing URL, name, privacy URL, none. Maybe I should add something there. Release notes, support URL, copyright, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you get it. So let's do something silly just for the sake of a demo. 2016, let's call it 2017. Let's do that just for fun. I mean, this is not going to be visible on the App Store anyway. So when we update these stuff, for this to be visible on the App Store, you have to submit a new app. So this is not going to be visible for anyone. So we can do this now. Okay. So we updated the copyright, and just for the making it even more easier to see, let's update the description. Let's call hello world. Let's update the description to hello world. Cool. You see here that it has updated these files. So now if we called Fastlane meta, which once again is the lane that's gonna deliver this meta information to iTunes Connect, and it's gonna skip the screenshots. It's only the text stuff basically. And I'm also gonna skip the binary upload, which is the IPA. So it's only gonna be the text files. Okay, let's do that. Hopefully this works on the first try. It usually does. This is really awesome because this means that I no longer have to go into iTunes Connect, signing in, waiting for it to load, which is, I don't know why, but iTunes Connect is so slow. Okay, that's it, done. So now we're gonna go into iTunes Connect anyway, but only to show you guys that it's actually there. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Always waiting. waste so much time. Oh, let's stretch over here. There we go. I'm gonna use that one. Boom. Okay, so let's go into cooking, which is the app we're talking about now, 1.8.0, which is the version I'm working on right now. So if we go in here, we go down to description, you see hello world. That's it. I mean, it's updated already. It's uploaded already. This is awesome. This is so awesome. It also means that you can have people updating the app copy and description and so on directly on GitHub, because these text files are available on GitHub, of course. Let's go to just for. So I worked with a guy previously who does not know how to. He don't know how to code, but he does know how to edit files. So we set up a GitHub account for him, and then he started, updating these stuffs all by himself, and it's awesome. So let's go into description, yeah, and then you can just tap the pen over here. You can edit this right here. Of course, each edit is going to create a new commit, but that's not a problem. I mean, that's totally okay. And you see the right here what's new and what's not. If they're too lazy to do that, they're gonna get an automatic commit what's called commit messages, update description.txt, which is awesome. And they can choose to create a new branch or commit directly to the develop branch. This is awesome. Okay, so let's go back to terminal. So let's roll this back, because I don't want to be. Oh yeah, let's double check the copyright as well. It should be 2017. Yeah, 17 Captain Awesome. So we don't want that. So I just rolled everything back. So let's just fire this up again. Yeah, it's doing the same thing again, but now it's uploading the previous app description I had and the previous copyright.txt. So this is gonna go back to what it was before, and the app description as well. Okay, and that was the meta lane. Oh, now it's finished already. Awesome. Let's refresh this and see what happens. Dependencies, I'm not gonna run this lane, but what it does is running cartridge and downloading and compiling all my dependencies, and this takes a while, so I'm not gonna do that. Sorry guys. It's nothing special to see there anyway. Yeah, as you see here, description is back to what it was before, and the copyright as well. Works like magic. Okay, and I have another lane called deploy, which is really awesome. I won't be able to run it now because I don't have a new app to deploy. So what it does is it makes sure that this branch is the master branch. So I can't run this lane from the develop lane, develop branch, sorry, Fastlane, deploy. It should wind now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Git is not on branch matching master. Current branch is develop. Please ensure the repo is checked out to the correct branch, which is great. So if I was a master, what would happen? Yeah, so we would disable iPad, because I haven't officially launched iPad support for cooking yet. Then we compile the app, so we get an IPA. Then we enable iPad again, iPad support, because I still want that available, when building and debugging. Then we run deliver. We skip the screenshots. We submit it for review. So once it has been uploaded, it's gonna submit to Apple, submit it to Apple for review, and it's also gonna enable automatic release. So whenever Apple approves this update, or approves it, it's gonna be automatically released to the App Store. And when that's done, it's creating a new tag with the prefixing with a V, and then using and then writing and then getting the version number. So if we list my tags, git tag, oops, maybe I created a new tag. Yeah, I did. I always get this one. Is it like that? Yeah, that's it. There we go. Okay, so these are the versions I have. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna add the git tag for the current version, which is 1.8.0, which should not be here. Yeah, it's not. And then it's gonna push them. So this tag is gonna be pushed to the to origin. And that's it. So I just write Fastlane deploy, press enter, and then I go and have a cup of coffee or work on something else. Just awesome. Yeah, and then after all, and also in the error, I added this. So there you can create your own notifications. So let's run something and you'll see it. Let's run version. So if you take a look on the top right corner of this recording, you're gonna see a notification pop up when this lane finishes. Well, oh yeah, I know why it doesn't pop up. It's because I have do not disturb activated. There we go. Let's try again. There we go. Fastlane version finished successfully. And an icon of the cooking app and the Fastlane icon on the left corner. And this is super easy to set up. You just write the title. You can have a subtitle as well. An own message. I just write the name of the lane and then finished successfully. When you tap it, I go back to the terminal. An icon, I have the Fastlane icon, and the content image, I have just the link to the to an icon for the cooking icon. That's it. Super simple to set up. I think that's it, guys. I hope this can give you some inspiration on how to automate stuff. And if you have any ideas or suggestions on stuff I should automate, just, hit me down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. Take care.